Remember when seeing something shocking actually shocked you? Now it's just another Tuesday on the internet. A disaster happens, we scroll, maybe react with a sad emoji, and then boom, we're back to watching cat videos. It's not that we don't care, it's just that we've been desensitized. Our brains are slowly getting used to constant exposure. Desensitization is when repeated exposure to something like violence, disasters, or shocking events reduces our emotional response to it. The brain does this to protect itself. If you're constantly bombarded with distressing content, your brain lowers the intensity of your reaction so that you don't burn out. It's survival. But the problem here is, once that numbness kicks in, it doesn't just stay in one corner, it spreads. For children and teenagers, this obviously hits harder. They're growing up online where violent or disturbing content shows up without warning, often mixed right next to entertainment. When your first encounters with tragedy are casual or even turned into trends, your emotional response develops differently. Instead of learning to empathize deeply, you learn to keep scrolling. That doesn't mean kids have no feelings. It just means that constant exposure may and does blunt a natural response they would have had if those moments were rare. And before adults get all smug, no, you're not fine either. We binge true crime like it's popcorn. We watch news of war while eating dinner. We normalize suffering to the point where a tragedy barely lasts a news cycle unless it's extra traumatic. And slowly, without realizing it, we start feeling less. Which raises the question, if everything is shocking, then is anything shocking at all? Honestly, it's not even that people don't care. It's just that caring at full capacity all the time is exhausting. So the brain adapts by dialing everything down. The problem is that empathy is what pushes people to act. If a tragedy feels like just another notification, the urgency is going to disappear. Over time, this can create, and it is creating, a culture where real issues don't get the response they need, because people are emotionally drained before they even start. It's not only about kids or adults individually, it's about entire generations getting used to tuning out. This doesn't mean we're all heartless. It just means that our coping mechanism is colliding with the amount of information we're exposed to every day. The human brain wasn't designed to handle global suffering on a 24/7 feed. So the question is, how do we balance staying aware without becoming completely numb? And at what point do we stop noticing that we've already crossed the line? There's no perfect answer, but there are certain small places where you can start, like limiting passive scrolling. If you notice that the news or content is starting to blur together, step away before your brain piles it on the background noise. I know it sounds basic, but every small break resets your emotional response. Another thing that you can do is try to focus on depth, not volume. Instead of consuming hundreds of headlines in one sitting, pick one story and actually learn about it. Read beyond the headline. Think about how it affects real people. That shift from skimming to engaging helps rebuild empathy instead of numbing it further. Maybe the real challenge here never was whether we still feel, it's whether we're paying attention to how much we've stopped feeling without realizing it, about the things that we just don't care about anymore. And sometimes, just slowing down and giving one thing your attention is the first step to noticing again. Also, if you like the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you.